Have you ever looked at someone and thought, this is it? This is the forever I've been waiting for? I did. Oh, I did. My name is Emily, and back then, I believed in love like it was the air I breathed. But what if I told you that the man who promised me the world was weaving a web of lies right under my nose? Stick with me, because this story, it's not just about heartbreak. It's about the kind of justice that hits like a thunderclap, leaving everyone, especially him, speechless. It started 5 years ago, on a rainy afternoon in our little coastal town. I was 28, fresh out of a dead-end job at a coffee shop, dreaming of something more. That's when I met Mark. He walked into that shop like he owned the place, tall, with that easy smile that could melt ice, and eyes the color of storm-tossed waves. He ordered a black coffee, no frills, and as I handed it over, our fingers brushed. Sparks, real ones, or so I thought. We talked for hours that day. He was a rising architect, designing homes that looked like they belonged in magazines, sleek lines, open spaces, the kind of places where families built memories. I want to create beauty that lasts, he said, leaning across the counter, his voice low and warm. I laughed, told him about my sketches, nothing fancy, just doodles of gardens and cozy nooks I'd fill with wildflowers if I ever had a home of my own. By the end of the week, we were inseparable. Dates on the beach, picnics under starlit skies, whispers of plans. He made me feel seen, cherished, like I was the only woman in the world. 6 months later, he proposed, right there on that same rainy beach, down on one knee in the downpour, holding a ring that caught the lightning like a secret promise. Emily, he said, his voice cracking just a little, you're my blueprint. Marry me and we'll build something unbreakable. I said yes before the words even left his lips. Tears mixed with rain on my face, and in that moment, I swear, my heart swelled so big it hurt. We were married in a small ceremony by the sea, white dresses billowing in the wind, vows exchanged under a canopy of driftwood and wild roses. My best friend, Sarah, stood beside me, her smile brighter than the sun breaking through the clouds. She'd been my rock since college, loyal, funny, the sister I never had. You two are perfect. She hugged me tight after the I do's, and we were, or at least that's what I told myself every day. Our life together unfolded like one of those storybook reels. We bought a fixer-upper house on the edge of town, a charming 2-story with creaky floors and a backyard that begged for a garden. Mark dove into renovations, turning it into our dream. Mornings, I'd wake to the smell of coffee and him humming off-key while flipping pancakes. Evenings, we'd curl up on the porch swing, his arm around me, talking about kids someday, travels to far-off places. You're my everything, Em, he'd murmur into my hair, and I'd believe him because why wouldn't I? Love like that doesn't lie, does it? But looking back now, I see the first tiny crack. It was subtle, like a hairline fracture in glass you don't notice until the light hits it just right. About a year into our marriage, Mark started working late. Big project, he'd say, kissing my forehead on his way out the door. The firm's pushing deadlines. I'd nod, understanding, because ambition was part of what I loved about him. Sarah would come over those nights. We'd split a bottle of wine, and she'd tease me about being the perfect wife. Girl, you're glowing, jealous. We'd laugh, and I'd feel that warmth again, the safety of friendship, the solidity of my marriage. One night, though, as we sat on my kitchen floor surrounded by takeout boxes, she got quiet. You ever worry? She asked, twirling her glass. About what? I replied, popping a fry into my mouth. Oh, you know, if things change. Her eyes flickered, but she smiled it away. Forget it. You're too happy with my nonsense. I let it go, because why dwell on shadows when your world's bathed in light? Little did I know those shadows were gathering, waiting to swallow me whole. As the months rolled on, our lives kept their rhythm. We hosted barbecues where friends envied our easy banter. Mark surprised me with weekend getaways, a cabin in the woods, just us and the crackle of a fire. Intimacy was there, tender and real, or so it felt. He'd trace patterns on my skin, whispering how lucky he was. I started my own little business from home, designing custom gardens, turning backyards into sanctuaries. Clients raved, money flowed in, and for the first time, I felt like we were equals in this dance of life. But then, on an ordinary Tuesday, everything shifted. Mark came home early, his face pale, clutching a blueprint rolled tight in his fist. "Em, we need to talk," he said, and my stomach dropped like a stone into deep water. What could it be? A job loss? Illness? My mind raced as he sat me down, but the words that came weren't what I expected. Not even close. And as he spoke, that hairline crack, it spiderwebbed across the glass of our perfect life. Hold on tight, because what happened next, it broke me in ways I never imagined, but it also forged something stronger, something that would change everything. That Tuesday evening, the sun dipped low over our garden, painting everything in gold, like nature was mocking the storm brewing inside. Mark unrolled that blueprint on the kitchen table, his hands trembling just a bit. "It's a huge opportunity," he said, forcing a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "A contract in the city, high-rises, the works. But it'll mean more travel, weekends away sometimes." I stared at the paper, lines and angles blurring as my heart twisted. Travel? We talked about starting a family soon. "How long?" I asked, my voice steadier than I felt. "A few months, tops." "It's good for SM, for our future." He pulled me into a hug and I melted into it, because that's what you do when you love someone. You trust their words over the knot in your gut. At first, it wasn't so bad. He'd call every night, his voice crackling over the line from some hotel room. "Miss you like crazy," he'd say, and I'd laugh, telling him about the roses I'd planted that day, how they were blooming fierce despite the drought. Sarah would drop by more often, filling the quiet with her chatter. "He's killing it out there," she'd say, scrolling through his LinkedIn updates on her phone. "Proud of your man." We'd cook dinners together, pasta with too much garlic, wine that went straight to our heads, and she'd crash on the couch, giggling about old college mishaps. It felt like old times, a buffer against the loneliness creeping in. But as weeks turned to months, the calls grew shorter. "Signal's bad," he'd explain, or "meeting ran late." Text replaced conversations, quick love yous that felt as rote as breathing. I'd lie awake in our bed, the sheets cool on his side, wondering if it was just the distance playing tricks. Was I being silly? Paranoid? Love isn't supposed to question itself like that. Or is it? One night I scrolled through his photos on my phone, us at the beach, laughing, carefree, and a pang hit me so sharp it stole my breath. What if this was the price of his dreams? I pushed it down, watered the garden extra that morning, let the soil ground me. Dirt under my nails always made things feel real again. Then came the first real shadow. It was a Friday, me knee-deep in a client project, when my phone buzzed with a notification. Not from Mark, a bank alert. A charge at that fancy Italian place downtown, the one we'd splurged on for our anniversary. $180 for two. My thumb hovered, heart picking up speed. He was in the city, sure, but dinners were solo takeout, he'd said. I texted, "Dining out tonight? Save me some tiramisu? Kissy face?" Dots danced, then stopped. 20 minutes later, client dinner. Wish I could. No emoji, no warmth. I stared at the screen, the garden tools forgotten in my lap. Client dinner. Okay, fine. But why did it feel like a door slamming shut? Sarah came over that weekend, sensing my mood like she always did. "Spill," she said, plopping beside me on the porch with a six-pack. I showed her the alert, voice small. Am I overthinking? She frowned, then shrugged it off with that effortless grace of hers. "Mark's a workaholic, Em. Remember that time in college when I ghosted my own birthday party for a paper? It's like that." We clinked bottles and she launched into a story about her latest date disaster, a guy who collected vintage typewriters and talked about them nonstop. Laughter bubbled up. chasing the doubt away. Sarah had this way of making everything lighter, like she was the sun breaking through my clouds. By the time she left, hugging me fiercely, I felt foolish for worrying. "Call him," she urged. "Clear the air." Then Sarah started acting strange. She'd cancel plans last minute. Swamped at the office, she'd text, though she worked from home as a graphic designer. One evening I drove to her place unannounced, craving company. Her car was in the drive, lights on, but no answer at the door. Through the window I glimpsed movement, shadows dancing, but she didn't pick up. "Everything okay?" I messaged. "Fine, headache, rain check." My chest tightened. Friends drift sometimes, don't they? But this felt heavier, like an unspoken weight pressing down. By month's end, Mark was home for a weekend. We made love like we were rediscovering each other, slow, urgent, his hands mapping my skin as if memorizing it. "You're my anchor," he breathed after, holding me close. I believed him, let the warmth chase away the chill. Sunday brunch with Sarah sealed it. She showed up bubbly, bearing mimosas, toasting to the dream team reunited. We spent the day gardening, I pulling weeds while Mark sketched patio ideas. Laughter echoed, sunlight warm on our backs. Perfect again. Or so I thought. That night, as Mark showered, his phone buzzed on the nightstand. I glanced, habit, nothing more, and the preview lit up. "Missed you today. When next? S." For Sarah? No, couldn't be. I set it down, heart hammering, as the shower shut off. "Everything all right?" he asked, towel around his waist, eyes searching mine. "Yeah," I lied, forcing a smile. But as he pulled me into bed, that buzz echoed in my skull like a warning bell. What was I missing? And how much deeper did those shadows go? Little did I know, the truth was clawing its way to the surface, ready to shatter everything I held dear.
You know that feeling when doubt creeps in? Not a flood, but a slow drip that soaks through your socks? That's where I was after that text. S. Could be his sister, I rationalized, or a colleague. Sarah? No way. She'd been my maid of honor, my confidant through every tear and triumph. But the drip kept coming, steady and unrelenting. The next morning, over coffee, Mark was all smiles, planning a hike, packing sandwiches like old times. I watched him, searching for cracks, but he was solid as ever. "You seem distant," he said suddenly, buttering toast. My fork paused midair. "Me? No, just tired." Lie. But how do you accuse the man you love of shadows you can't name? The week blurred by in a haze of work. I threw myself into garden designs, clients needing escape, irony not lost on me. Late one night, phone in hand, I caved, opened his messages. The password was our anniversary. Easy. Too easy. Nothing jumped out. Work emails, memes from buddies, a thread with his mom about holiday plans. Then, buried in deleted items, that S chat. Just one exchange. "Missed you today. When next?" His reply, "Soon." Keeping it quiet. My throat closed. Keeping what quiet? I slammed the phone down, pulse roaring in my ears. Paranoia or poison? Sarah called the next day, voice bright. "Lunch? My treat." I almost said no, but curiosity won. We met at our spot, a quaint cafe with ivy walls and mismatched chairs. She hugged me tight, chattering about a new freelance gig. "You're a saver for those referrals, Em." I nodded, stirring my soup. Words bubbling up. "Hey, random, Mark mention anything about S lately?" Her spoon clattered. "S? Like who?" Too quick, eyes darting to her napkin. "Just a text I saw, probably nothing." She laughed, high and brittle. "Oh, his sister. Yeah, they're planning a surprise or something." Relief flickered, but it guttered fast. Her hands shook while folding that napkin. That night, I confronted the mirror. "Get a grip, Emily," I whispered. But sleep evaded me. Dreams tangled with whispers and locked doors. Mark's trips resumed, and so did the gifts. Now a necklace, delicate silver with a pendant that screamed, "Not my style." I wore it anyway, for peace. Sarah pulled back more, texts sparse, excuses piling up. Swamped. Family stuff. Our trio dinners? Canceled. I felt the knot tightening, an invisible rope around my chest. Was I losing them both? Then a client gig changed everything. Designing a rooftop oasis for a tech firm downtown. Ironic, since Mark's projects were nearby. On site, I overheard whispers in the lobby. That architect guy, Mark? Total charmer. Saw him with some designer last week. Cozy. My clipboards nearly slipped. Cozy. With who? I brushed it off as gossip, but the drip became a trickle. Home that evening, I rifled his suitcase. Laundry habit, I told myself. A receipt tumbled out. Hotel bar tab. 2 whiskeys charged to the company card. But scrawled on the back, drinks with S, next time on me. S again. Heart slamming, I pocketed it, mind racing. Sarah didn't drink whiskey. I needed air. Drove to the beach, waves crashing like accusations. Sat on the sand where he'd proposed, sifting shells through fingers numb with cold. Why fight it? Call Sarah, demand truth. But fear glued my tongue. Fear of the answer. Of the end. Instead, I texted Mark. Love the necklace. Who's S on your phone? Sent. Regret instantly. Dots danced eternally. Work contact. Why? Lie? Truth? I typed back. Nothing. Miss you. But the knot pulled tighter, squeezing breath from my lungs. Days later, Sarah showed up unannounced, rain-soaked and wild-eyed. We need to talk, she said, dripping on my welcome mat. My stomach flipped. This was it, the unraveling. She paced the living room, words tumbling. I've been distant because, God, I don't know how to say this. My world tilted. Say what? She stopped, tears streaking mascara. Mark and I, it's not what you think. Wait, no, that's wrong. It is. Time froze. The room spun. Betrayal, sharp as shattered glass, sliced through me. But wait, there's more. Because what she confessed next, it wasn't just an affair. It was a deception so deep, it rewrote our entire story. And in that moment of shattering, something inside me hardened. Not broke. Hardened. Ready for what came next.
Rain hammered the windows like it was trying to drown out her words, but nothing could wash away the poison Sarah just unleashed. She stood there, soaked to the bone, her face a mask of guilt twisted with something uglier. Relief? Mark and I, she repeated, voice breaking. I gripped the door frame, nails digging into wood as if it could anchor me. Finish it, I whispered, the words tasting like ash. She collapsed onto the couch, burying her face in her hands that used to braid my hair during sleepovers. It started 6 months ago. The trips, they weren't just work. He'd call me when you were asleep, say he needed to talk about stress, the pressure. I listened, that's all, at first. Listened. The word echoed, mocking. My best friend listening to my husband? I sank to the floor, knees buckling, the room closing in. Talk or more? My voice was a stranger's, hollow, edged with rage I didn't know I had. She looked up, eyes red-rimmed. More dinners, then nights. God, I'm so sorry. It was a mistake. He said you two were drifting, that you didn't understand his world anymore. Drifting? Us? The hikes, the whispers, the way he'd hold me like I was his whole universe? Lies? All of it? Shock hit first, a wave crashing over, leaving me gasping. Then the anger, hot and feral, clawing up my throat. You, I spat. My sister. How could you? She sobbed then, ugly and raw. I love you, Em. Your family. It just happened.
The chemistry, the secrecy, it thrilled us. But I ended it last week. Told him it stops or I tell you everything. Ended it. As if that erased the knife in my back? I laughed, a bitter, broken sound that startled us both. Thrilled? While I watered gardens alone, wondering why my husband felt like a ghost. While you canceled plans because you were tangled in his sheets? Images flooded. Her laughter at our wedding, toasting our love. Mark's arms around me now poisoned by her touch. Betrayal wasn't just pain, it was erasure. Who was I, if not the woman they both pretended for? Hours blurred. She spilled it all, words a torrent. The first kiss? In a hotel bar after one of his client dinners. Whiskey loosening tongues and morals. Stolen weekends when I thought he was sketching blueprints. He'd been sketching her instead. Text side glimpsed? Coded meetups. The necklace? For her. Returned when guilt bit. And the whispers of doubt she'd planted that night on the kitchen floor? Tests, she admitted. Gauging if I'd suspect. Easing her conscience. I wanted to stop, but he made me feel alive. Alive. At my expense. By dawn, she was gone. Hugging me one last time, whispering apologies that fell flat. I locked the door, slid down it, and let the sobs come. Not quiet tears, wailing, primal, shaking the house we built. How had I missed it? The late calls, the off-size scarf, her sudden headaches? Blind. Foolish. But beneath the grief, a spark ignited. Anger, yes, but sharper. Resolve. They thought me soft. The garden girl who forgave weeds and waited for rain. Wrong. This betrayal? It stripped me bare, but it also revealed the steel underneath. I didn't call Mark. Not yet. Instead, I paced that empty house, rage fueling my steps. Pulled out drawers, rifled closets. Evidence everywhere now that I looked. A hotel keycard in his jacket. Crumpled love notes in her old purse I'd borrowed once. Photos on a hidden app. Them laughing in a bed that wasn't mine. Each find was a punch, but I didn't crumple. I documented screenshots, timestamps, and a digital trail of their deceit. Why? Because tears wouldn't undo this. Exposure would.
Morning light filtered in, weak and gray, matching my soul. Phone buzzed. Him. Home tomorrow. Can't wait to hold you. Hold me. The lie burned. I typed back, me too. Drive safe. Neutral. Bait. As I hit send, a plan flickered, vague but vicious in its simplicity. Not screams or scenes. Something colder, calculated. They'd twisted love into deception. I'd twist it back into truth. But first, I needed more. Proof that is stuck, undeniable. And Sarah? She'd handed me the first piece, unwittingly. Forgiveness? Maybe later. Justice? Now. That day, I drove to the beach again, not for solace, but strategy. Waves roared approval as I sat, notebook in lap, jotting fragments. Bank records, phone logs, alibis to crack. The sun climbed, burning off fog, and with it, my numbness. Shock ebbed, leaving purpose. They'd played me for a fool. Time to flip the board. But as I headed home, the phone rang. Sarah. Em? Please? Can we talk more? Her voice trembled. I paused, finger hovering. Tomorrow, I said coolly, but bring everything. Texts, photos, all of it. Click. The line went dead, and so did a part of the old me. What rose? A woman ready to burn it all down. Quietly, masterfully. And oh, the house felt like a tomb after Sarah left. Echoes of laughter, now ghosts mocking me from every corner. I wandered rooms we'd filled with dreams. The kitchen, where we danced to old records, his hand on my waist. The bedroom, where promises were sealed in whispers. Each memory twisted now, tainted. I curled up on the bed, clutching his pillow, the smell of his cologne a cruel tease. Sadness crashed first, waves of it, soaking sheets with tears I couldn't stop. Why? I murmured to the empty air.
Why wasn't I enough? Betrayal's cruelest cut isn't the act. It's the doubt it plants, whispering you're unworthy, unlovable. Hours passed in that haze, body heavy, mind a storm. But anger followed, slow burning coal in my chest. I rose at dusk, legs shaky, and faced the mirror. Eyes puffy, hair wild, but something new flickered there. Not defeat, defiance. You don't get to break you. You break the cycle. It wasn't a scream. It was a vow. I showered hot, scrubbed away salt tracks, and emerged renewed. No more victim. Architect of my own reckoning. That night, sleep dodged me, so I plotted in the dark. Revenge wasn't destruction. YouTube might flag that, and honestly, it wasn't me. No, this would be exposure, pure and poetic. They'd built a facade of perfection. I'd dismantle it, brick by brick. Let truth do the shattering. First step, gather the arsenal. Sarah's confession was gold, but I needed ironclad proof. I emailed myself every screenshot backed up to a hidden drive. Then the emotional purge. He burned his love notes in the sink, watched flames curl words to ash. Cathartic, that. Smoke curled like my rising resolve. Morning brought Mark home. I played the part, smiles at the door, kisses that hid knives. Missed you, I said, meaning the lie as much as the truth. He dropped his bag, pulled me close, oblivious. Rough trip, but seeing you, it's home. Home. The word stung, but I swallowed it. Brewed coffee strong. Over mugs, I probed gently. Any fun stories? Met anyone interesting? His eyes flicked, a microsecond, but I caught it. Nah, just suits and spreadsheets. Lie. Easy as breathing. We spent the day doing domestic chores, laundry, lunch, and a walk in the garden. He complimented the blooms. You're magic, Em. Magic. If only he knew the spell I was weaving. Sarah arrived at noon, as promised, pale, clutching a USB drive like a lifeline. Mark was out grabbing groceries, perfect timing. She thrust it at me. Everything. Chats, pics, even voice memos. Delete me from your life after if you want. I took it, cool as marble. Why now? I asked, voice steady. She crumbled. Guilt. And he wouldn't stop, kept pushing for more meats. I couldn't live with it. Pushing. My jaw clenched. You chose this too. Silence stretched, heavy, then softer. I did, and I'll pay. No tears from Lee this time, just nod. Go, we'll talk when it's done. She left, shoulders slumped, and I plugged in the drive. Jackpot. Months of digital deceit. Flirty texts time-stamped during his late nights. Photos of tangled limbs, blurred faces, but unmistakable. Even a memo of him laughing. She's clueless, makes it hotter. Hotter! Rage flared white-hot, but I breathed it down. Fuel, not fire.
Afternoon waned. Mark returned, none the wiser. Dinner was tense for me, serene for him. Steak and stories of deals closed. I nodded, smiled, and inside, mapping moves. At bedtime, he reached for me. I turned away gently. Tired. Hurt flickered in his eyes. Good. Let him taste doubt. Alone in the guest room, I cried quietly, my last tears for the man I thought I knew. Dawn broke with clarity. This wasn't just about them. It was reclaiming me. The girl who'd sketched dreams? She was still here, sharper now. Over the next days, the aftermath settled like dust after a quake. I confided in no one, kept it locked, letting fury forge focus. Walks became strategy sessions, whispers to myself, expose without exploding. Moral whispers crept in too. Justice isn't petty, it's balance restored. They'd stolen trust. I'd restore it, not just for me, but as a warning to the world. Listeners like you may be nursing your own wounds. But the plan? It needed flesh. Allies? No. Solitary wolf now. Tools? Tech? Timing? Truth. And the twist? That would be the blade's edge. As the week ended, I stared at the USB pulse steady, ready. The storm was mine to unleash. But first, one more thread to pull, the one that would bind them in their own web. Sunlight slanted through the blinds like bars on a cage,
But I wasn't trapped anymore. I was the one setting the trap. That USB burned a hole in my laptop as I sat at the kitchen table, coffee gone cold, mind ablaze. Revenge wasn't an outburst. It was art. A masterpiece of exposure that would leave Mark and Sarah staring at their reflections, stripped bare. No violence, no scenes, just truth, amplified, echoing where it hurt most, their worlds of pretense. But how? Step 1. Map the battlefield. I grabbed a notebook, an old habit from garden sketches, and outlined it like a design. Targets: his career, her facade of friendship, their shared delusion of invincibility. Weapon: digital trail, turned public, without a trace back to me. At first, idea sparked from a late-night scroll, anonymous posts on industry forums, where architects networked like sharks in chum. Mark's firm thrived on reputation. Tarnish that, and the house of cards topples. But subtle. No names, just hints mirroring their lies. Spouse travels for work? Watch bank alerts for client dinners that smell fishy. I'd see doubt. Let others connect the dots. For Sarah, social circles, our mutual friends, the ones who'd toasted our trio. A confession email chain, fabricated from real snippets, accidentally forwarded. Guilt by association. But the core, a confrontation, live and loaded, where I'd drop the bomb and walk away clean. Day 2, I dove deep. Created burner accounts, faceless profiles with VPN shields, untraceable as mist. Pulled every scrap. Texts parsed into timelines, photos cropped to imply without showing skin. Voice memos edited, his laugh looped over neutral audio. Clueless makes it hotter, masked as business brag gone wrong. Safe, dramatic, enough to shock, not scar. Then the twist I savored. Involve his big project. That high-rise? Presentation next month. Firm gala to follow. I'd crash neither. Better. Infiltrate via anonymous tip to the lead partner. Bundle proof. Email from a ghost. Your star architect's distractions could cost the contract. Let ambition be his undoing. Sarah's role? Bait. I texted her midweek. Need your help. One last thing. She arrived wary, eyes hollow. What now? I showed her the outline. Not all, just edges. Expose him. Us. Clean. Her face crumpled. Me too, M. Please. I said, voice even. You chose the bed. Lie in it. But mercy flickered. I offered out. Confess publicly first. Soften blow. She nodded broken. Okay. For you. Her remorse? Maybe. Didn't matter. Pawn and play. Week blurred into research frenzy. I pored over his firm's site, gala invites public, RSVPs open. Hacked nothing, ethical line held, but social engineered a contact. Fake LinkedIn query as potential client. Glean schedules. For drama, scripted the reveal. A video compilation, cued on a private link. Triggered post-confrontation. Cinematic. Fading photos, overlaid texts, my voice narrating calmly. Love's deception ends here. Not vengeful rant, poised reckoning. Moral seed planted. Betrayal breaks, but truth rebuilds. Nights, doubt nipped heels. What if he denied? What if she flipped? I'd pace the garden, moon on roses, whispering affirmations. You're not the fool, they are. Strength grew, roots deep. Allies emerged unexpectedly. A divorce lawyer friend, casual consult. Document everything, M. Protect yourself. Financials next. Froze joint accounts subtly. Cited Renos. He noticed, frowned over dinner. Money glitch? I fixed it, I smiled. Bait swallowed. By plan end, the web shimmered, threads taut, ready to snare. Gala loomed 2 weeks out. Sarah prepped her confession post for our group chat, timed post-reveal. My role? The quiet storm at home, invite him to a surprise dinner, lay cards bare. No screams, just facts. Drive the video link. Watch, I'd say. See the truth you built. Then walk. Let fallout cascade. Firm tip drops. Forums buzz. Friends reel. Justice served cold. As I saved the final file, a thrill coursed, not hate, but power reclaimed. They'd deceived for thrill, I'd expose for freedom. But the real hook? The moral twist waiting at the end. One last check. Back up everything. Breathe deep. The web was set. Now to lure the flies. Little did they know the spider had teeth. And bite? Oh, it would. The garden had always been my sanctuary, dirt yielding to will, weeds pulled to make way for beauty. Now it mirrored my prep. Methodical digs, unearthing roots of deceit. Week 1 post-plan, I rose early, notebook in pocket, and started the hunt. First thread, finances. Our joint count app glowed on my phone, transfers to consulting fees, odd for his salary. Dug deeper, receipts from that Italian spot, cross-referenced with his trips. Patterns emerged, dinners aligning with Sarah's headache nights. Printed stacks, annotated like evidence in a trial. Exhibit A, I murmured, taping it to a corkboard in the garage, my war room, hidden behind tool shelves.
Mark noticed my busyness. New project, he'd ask over breakfast, fork pausing. Garden expansion, I'd lie smoothly, sketching fake plans. He bought it, kissed my cheek, and touched it electrically with irony. Meanwhile, I shadowed digital trails. His phone, left charging, snuck peeks during showers, new app, encrypted chats. Couldn't crack, but noted names. S project. Cute. Sarah's feed, purged mutual tags, but archives held gold. Geotags from solo trips matching his hotels. Screenshot frenzy. By noon, the corkboard bloomed, timelines pinned, strings connecting dots. Proof, tangible as soil. The afternoon brought riskier gatherings. Drove to his office, surprise lunch, alibi solid. While he stepped out for a call, I browsed his desk, post-its with hotel numbers, a doodle of intertwined initials, M and S. Heart raced, but steady hands snapped pics. Elevator down, adrenaline buzzed. Home, added to board, desk raid success. Evening, Sarah delivered more, her phone dump, tear-streaked. This ends it, right? It does, I assured, though her eyes begged forgiveness I couldn't grant yet. USB merged with mine, now a vault of villainy. Day 3, tech escalated. Enlisted a cousin, an IT whiz, discreet. Hypothetical, I framed over coffee. Traced deleted texts? He grinned, shared tools, free recovery software, simple as drag and drop. Ran it on backups, resurrected ghosts. Can't wait to see you. E? Clueless again? A clueless. The word fueled me. Cousin raised brow. M, this real? Very. He nodded, no questions, family code. By night recovered trove, 50+ messages, flirty to fevered. Edited safe, redacted explicit, kept damning. Video draft began, montage of their words over neutral clips, beach walks, ironic, city lights, my narration, deception thrives in silence, time to speak, chills even for me. Prep hit a snag midweek. Mark suggested couples therapy. We've been off, he said, eyes earnest over mine. Trap or guilt? Maybe, I hedged, mind whirring. Used it, booked a session but solo. Therapist, sharp-eyed. Sounds like trust erosion. Rebuilding, I echoed, gleaning advice on healthy exits. Gold for climax script. Home, wove it in. Post-reveal, cite therapy notes. Faked neutral, for legal armor. Divorce papers drafted quietly. The lawyer filed the preliminary. No service yet. Assets split fair. Spite stayed sidelined. Gathering peaked on Friday. Gala invites confirmed via his email hack. Guilt-free. Public folder. Tip email drafted. Urgent. Integrity issue with Mark. Last name. Attach proof of conflicts. Bundle zipped. Schedule send post-dinner surprise. Forums prepped. Posts queued on timers. Architects. Ever suspect work-wife affairs? Bait for buzz. Sarah's confession? Polished her draft. I betrayed my best friend. Here's why I'm sorry. Set to post in groups. My twist? A final video. Not accusatory. Reflective. From pain to power. My story of seeing clear. Monetizable. Shareable. With a hook. Justice without jails.
As the week closed, the board overflowed. A spider's dream. I stepped back, surveyed, airtight. But emotion tugged. Nights, old photos surfaced. Tears for the love lost. Was any real? I'd whisper to dark. The answer came down. Didn't matter. Forward. Mark home early Saturday, arms open. Weekend away? Tempting. Bait. Love to, I smiled, inside stealing. Prep done, storm brewed. One loose thread nagged. What if they sensed it? Paranoia? No, instinct. That night, his phone buzzed late, screen lit. We need to talk. Now. Now? At 2 a.m.? My mind reeled. Sarah? Panicking? Or their plotting counter? Heart thundered. I slipped from sheets, padded to the kitchen, phone in hand. Texted her burner. What? Dots danced eternally. He suspects. Called me tonight. Said you're acting weird. Abort? Abort? After all this? Fury simmered, but cool prevailed. No. Stick. Or you're alone. Harsh? Necessary. Her reply, okay. Scared. Good. Fear was fair. Dawn crept gray. Mark stirred late. Eyes shadowed. Bad night? I asked, pouring juice. Casual as fog. He rubbed his neck. Dreams. Weird ones. Dreams. Of crumbling empires. I smiled inside, web tightening. Breakfast dragged. He probed gently. You've been distant, Em. Work stress? Lie detector in my gut pinged. A bit, but it'll pass. He nodded, but his gaze lingered, hunting cracks. I excused myself to garden and escaped to the war room. Board stared back, mocking calm. Adjusted strings. Accelerated forum posts. Gala tip to Monday. No more waiting. Day unfolded tight. Every glance loaded. Words minefields. Grocery shopping together. He bumped the cart playfully, but I flinched. Jumpy? He teased. Tired, I parried. Store aisles blurred, cereal boxes blurring with memories of shopping dates. Now suspect. Back home, Sarah called. My line. Risky. He's pushing, she hissed. Wants to meet tonight. Says end it clean. End it. As if I were the mess. Let him. Record it. Click. Adrenaline surged. She prepped her phone. Memo app primed. Echoes built. What if he confessed or lied bolder? Afternoon, tension coiled. Mark suggested walking. The beach. Our spot. Alarm bells. Rain coming. I dodged. He frowned but dropped it. Instead, paced house, phone glued. I watched covertly. Texts flying. Face darkening. Suspect me? Good. Let paranoia gnaw. Evening fell heavy. Dinner silent. Forks clinking accusations. Something's off, he burst finally. Plate pushed. Talk to me, Em. Off, like your trips? Air thickened. He blinked. What? Nothing. Past the salt. Deflected, but seed planted. His phone buzzed, but he ignored it. Mine too. Sarah. Meeting him. Recording. Game on. Hours ticked. I feigned TV trance. Ears straining. 9 p.m. Door creak. No, wind. Imagination or prelude? Text from her. Done. Audio gold. He admits. Blames me. Attach file. His voice. Tinny. M's onto something. We stop. Or it blows. Blows. Irony. I played loop. Rage and relief warring. Proof. Jackpot his words damning. But storm brewed. He cornered me post-shower. Towel-clad. Eyes fierce. Sarah called. Said you're digging. What's this about? Heart stopped. Echoes crashed. Web shaking. Digging, I echoed, innocent. For what? He paced, words tumbling. She thinks you're suspicious. Texts. Trips. Em. If there's doubt, say it. Doubt? Understatement. But play calm. Doubt? From what? Lie hung. He deflated. Nothing. Forget. Kissed forehead, retreated. Close call. Too close. Night deepened. I lay awake. Plan recalibrating. Confront tomorrow. Not surprise dinner. Raw. Now. Gala tip sent early. Forums live. Sarah's post is queued. Tension peaked. What if he bolts? Or confesses preempt? Questions swirled. Sleep fleeing. Midnight. Thunder rumbled true. Storm outside. Mirroring in. Phone lit. His search. Signs wife knows affair. Panic or vindication? I smiled dark. Echoes fading to roar. Calm shattered. Dawn would break it wide. The web quivered, but held. One more breath, then unleash. But as lightning flashed, a final doubt. Was justice worth the wreckage, or would it wreck me too? The answer stormed in with morning light.
Morning broke brutally, sky bruised purple, rain lashing windows like Judgment Day. I rose before Mark, a war room calling, played Sarah's audio again, his admission, voice cracking. We stop before she breaks, as if I hadn't already. Corkboard gleamed, strings taut, hit send on gala tip, bundle whooshed to partner inbox, integrity breach imminent. Forums pinged live, first post up. Work affairs ruining homes? Anyone else? Replies trickled, sounds familiar. Web alive, vibrating. Sarah's confession auto-posted to groups. I hurt my best friend. Affair with her husband. Shame owns me. Dots connected online, whispers to roars. Kitchen waited. I brewed coffee strong, set the table for two, not romance, reckoning. Mark shuffled in, hair tousled, eyes bleary. Storm's wild, he muttered, pouring a mug. I nodded, heart steel drum. Storms pass. Truth doesn't. He froze, cup midway. What? Sat across, met gaze. We need to talk, really talk. Air charged, rain drum underscore. He set the mug down slowly. Okay. I pulled phone, cued video, our montage, starting soft, wedding clips, fading to text overlay. His face paled as narration hit. Love promised forever, deception stole it. Played full, 5 minutes of their sins, my calm voice weaving a thread. Ended on his memo, clueless makes it hotter. Silence crashed, heavier than thunder. You, he whispered, eyes wide, shock, then denial. Fake, doctored. Stood abruptly, chair scraping. Sarah put you up, jealous crap. Rage boiled in me, but I leashed it. Listen. Cued her audio, his voice boomed. We stop. He crumpled back, face ashen. Em, please, mistake, weak moment. I love you. Love? The word curdled. I stood slow, voice steady, quaking. Love? While you laugh behind my back? While she canceled sister nights for your sheets? Tears pricked, mine, hot, but held. I trusted, built with you. You torched it. He reached. Instinctively, I stepped back. Don't. Room spun cinematic. Rain-blurred world outside, us islands in wreckage. Why? I demanded, voice breaking free. Was I ever enough? He sobbed then, ugly, real. You were everything. Pressure. She listened. Stupid. Forgive? Forgiveness. Tempting ghost. But no. Too late. Truth's out. His eyes sharpened. Out. The phone buzzed. His friend thee. Texts. Colleague. Dude. Forums blowing up. Affair rumors? Partner email. Meeting. Now. Explain attachments. Face strained. You did this. Accusation laced awe. Not revenge, I said cool. Justice. Your web untangled. Storm peaked. Lightning cracked. Lights flickering. He lunged verbally. You'll regret ruining us. Us. Laugh escaped bitter. We died months ago. I'm free. Gathered keys, bag, and prepped escape. Divorce papers filed. Take the house. I want the garden's peace. He begged, wait, talk more. But I walked. Door quicking final as thunder applauded. Outside, rain soaked instant, cleansing, fierce. Drove blind, tears mixing downpour. Climax crested. Phone alive, forums viral. Architect scandal trending local. Sarah's post flooded with likes, comments, monsters. His firm statement pending, resignation whispers. Web snapped, flies ensnared. Pulled over bluff side, waves below raging mirror. Relief hit, a wave of it, washing shock clean. Not joy yet,
Grief lingered, but power? Electric. I'd face the beast, slain with truth. Called Sarah, voicemail. It's done. Heal your own way. No hate, just release. Drove home, not ours, mine now. Stepped empty, his bag gone, a frantic exit. Smiled faintly, gone to damage control. Night fell, I lit candles, poured wine solo. Climax echoed, not end, pivot. Justice delivered, twist, it freed me the most. But wreckage waited, resolution dawned slowly. What rose from these ashes? A woman reborn, ready to bloom. Sun-pierced clouds 2 days post-reckoning, painting the garden gold again like an apology from the sky. I woke in the guest room, sheets tangled from fitful dreams, but lighter. No Mark snoring beside. Silence was a gift now, not void. Phone off, detox from chaos. Brewed tea herbal, stepped out bare feet to dew-kissed grass. Roses nodded, thorns glinting warning. Touched petals soft. We survived. First breath, free, deep, untainted. Resolution wasn't fireworks. It was this, quiet reclaiming, petal by petal. News trickled, slowly. His firm suspended him pending review. Contract lost, gala canceled. Forums buzzed for weeks. Ultimate betrayal takedown. Sarah vanished. Social. Rumors of therapy. City move. Friends rallied. Texts poured. Saw the posts. Here for you. Group chat is alive with support. Old trio ghosts exorcised. Divorce swift. Paper signed amicably. His lawyer pushing fast to contain. I took half the assets, the house, and peace. Sold the porch swing, too many memories. Bought a hammock, strung it solo under stars. Weeks blurred heel. Therapy real now, unpacking layers. Betrayals echo, the doc said, fades with time, work. I worked, gardens flourished, clients doubled, drawn to my resilient designs. One, a widow rebuilding, your yards whisper hope. Hope. Word anchored. Nights journaled raw, anger to ache to acceptance. Mark reached once, letter, handwritten. I broke us. Sorry doesn't fix, but it's a start. Be happy. Burned it gently. No hate left, just closure. Sarah? Card weeks later. Forgive myself first. Miss you always. Filed away. Bridge maybe. Not now. Impact rippled wide. Video dropped, my twist, from deception to dawn. Views climbed thousands, comments flood. Your strength inspires. Justice without spite, queen. Moral wove natural. Betrayal blinds, but truth illuminates. Don't seek revenge in the shadows. Shine light, let it expose. Self-worth? Non-negotiable. Love yourself fiercely, or others won't. Listeners, if you're nursing wounds, pause. You're not broken, you're blooming. I did. From ashes, new life, dated casually, sketched dreams bolder, travel solo, Italy first. Garden expanded, sanctuary shared, workshops for women rebuilding. Month out, beach walk, proposal spot. No ghosts, waves sang fresh. Stood tall. I chose justice. It chose me back. Sunset, fire gold, heart full. Story ends. No. Chapter turns. For you watching, nursing your own storm, hold on. The twist? It's yours to deliver. True justice isn't them falling. It's you rising.